Officials in Ukraine say Russia has launched air attacks in the western region of Lviv and the northwestern region of Volyn, both near the Polish border. Residential buildings are said to have been hit. Ukrainian media says the attack is the largest air assault in the Lviv region since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. Well, let's cross live now to our correspondent James Waterhouse, who's in Kiev. James, just bring us up to date with the latest from the last few hours.
Well, we're told that 28 missiles were launched at Ukraine overnight. It's a continuation of Russia's policy of trying to target the cities, villages and towns that it doesn't occupy. And western Ukraine is typically somewhere that can feel far from the conflict. It is hundreds of miles away from the front line. And yet we're told that cruise missiles were launched from either the Black Sea or the Caspian Sea towards that area, and we're told of damage being caused in the city of Lviv by falling debris, which you often see when a missile is intercepted. And we're told that 3 people have been killed close to the northwestern city of Lutsk. But it doesn't stop there. We're told of another major fire in the southwestern region of Dnipropetrovsk. So we're looking at the whole western flank of Ukraine, which has found itself under attack. What's interesting is that the officials are quite keen to say that the air defence systems have been working and that most missiles have been taken out. But I think when you're talking around about 28 overall, it just shows you the volume of or the size of the threat that these places face, and also the relentlessness of Russia's policy, because these missiles cost a few million each typically, and it seems keen and willing to exert these kind of attacks on Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Ukraine continuing to exert its own pressure on Russia where it can, and some defensiveness from the Ukrainian authorities about the speed of the offensive, but they're saying they are continuing to target key infrastructure, key Russian military infrastructure in the controlled regions.
Yes, this is a bit of an effective Ukrainian strategy in the past where it has looked to liberate territory. It's effectively tried to frustrate Russian supply lines, ammunition depots. We've seen sea drone attacks towards the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia has long occupied. But I think if you look at the political narrative here, if you look at most of the analysis, I think there are some readying themselves for this conflict or this counteroffensive to push well into next year, because that's not to say that Ukraine is failing in its endeavour. It is liberating in some areas, but it also has to weigh up its own personnel. What is an acceptable number of military losses? It has to preserve that Western kit that it's been supplied with. And I think it has been frustrated with, for example, the volume of Russian mines that have been placed in their path. And it shows that, Russia is very intent. If you look at the level of the intensity of fighting in some areas like the eastern city of Bakhmut, Russia is intent on trying to keep hold of what it has taken, in the hope that it'll lead to the West perhaps losing interest down the line, and that will subsequently lead to pressure for Ukraine to make some kind of compromise, although no signs of that happening yet.
James Waterhouse in Kiev for the moment. Thank you.